So, Birds, you're back, as you like to say.
Birds is back.
Traveling for work.
Sounds suspicious
Back again.
to me.
Yeah, so it was funny. While you were gone, someone mentioned how you look just like Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister.
Oh, that's just a weird coincidence. That's definitely not Justin Trudeau, Canadian Prime Minister.
Right. Well, I mean, it's just funny because you travel for work so much, but, you're very private about what you're doing.
That's true. I mean, look, just because Canada basically runs itself at this point, except for 1 week out of a month, doesn't mean that I'm going to Canada as Justin Trudeau, my alter identity, and running Canada.
I didn't even bring that up, but you're kind of right. I mean, Canada seems simple, especially compared to the United States.
Most of it is moose.
Most of Canada is moose. It's made up of entirely moose in some parts of Canada, and you are disappearing all the time.
Look, I just brought it up because it's simply not true, and those allegations you've heard about Canada just being America, but way more reasonable about everything, and that being my doing, are complete fabrications. I'm just a simple Destiny podcast.
A politician talking his way around
Yeah,
it.
that sounds.
I'm on to you.
Not the Prime Minister of any North American territory, especially not Canada. Let's get to the show,
All
guys.
right, we'll see.
Get to the show, eh?
There it is.
Again, boys.
Well, hello, Justin.
Hello, Birds. Hello, Justin and Justin.
We're all Justins down here. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Hey, Bones. Hey, Swipe.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
What's going on? What's what day is it?
Oh, I don't even know, man. I got like 3 hours of sleep last night, and then I got on an airplane, and I'm literally unpacking my bag so I can repack it into a different bag and catch an 8 a.m. flight out of LAX tomorrow.
Why aren't you just staying packed?
Yeah, why don't you just stay in Canada?
Because this bag is a Seattle bag and not a Hawaii bag. So
Oh,
I'm packing it.
Fancy.
Well, Hawaii
This
is
guy-
a nice resort kind of location, and Seattle, well, it's just untamed wilds up there. You don't have electricity in that thing, so I guess you gotta pack a little more resources and gear.
We're running out of logs and beaver oil to burn for warmth up there, so it's particularly cold this time of year.
True.
Well, I'm glad you're here for like 6 hours so you can record a podcast with us.
Record a podcast, get desperately my video game fix going, and then back to it.
Watch like
But I'll
3
be
YouTube
relaxing this
videos and then leave again.
Caught up.
Welcome to Crucible Radio, the podcast for all things Destiny PvP.
All things.
It's episode 82.
We are in the midst of a Destiny lull.
A little bit of a lull. A little bit of lull.
It's lulling.
It's lulling a little bit. It's definitely lulling.
Every day we lull.
The lulls keep coming, but the game is in a lull. There's a something there. I'll get it.
We do it for the lulls, right?
Yeah. The lulls never stop. Lull be damned. The lulls never stop.
Okay.
New T-shirt.
Anywho, we're making the best of our Destiny time. Not as much as I'm normally used to, but when I do hop on, I make the best of it, and I do not stay up too late playing Destiny. I'm getting my rest, focusing on in real life stuff like fitness.
Working on my fitness.
I've always enjoyed that sort of focusing thing that happens to Destiny during the lull, because it's rare that you stop playing altogether. Instead, you say, I'm going to come in to do the one thing that I care about, or the two things that I care about, whether it's play some trials or grind out your weekly bounty, or just play some rumbles and win a rumble and take that into the next day with you as king of the hill.
It really magnifies your like what you're focusing on. So like if I'm focusing on like a certain like hand cannon shot, or if I'm focusing on sniping, it's easier to come in fresh and just be like, all right, yeah, this is what I'm doing, so, as opposed to like marathon sessions where I'm like just kind of like going with the ebb and flow of the way things are. Like, oh, I'm gonna go Rumble now, and then I'm gonna transition into Trials later, and then we're gonna go do the raid for some reason.
Kingsfall?
No, thank you.
I found out that the more I play other games and mix it up and stuff like that, when I get on Destiny, it's more of a purpose to do things with friends. Or, hey, you guys want to scrim? You want to do a 4v4? Can we get enough people? Or do you just want a 3v3? And that is more fun by far than just going Tuesday night, logging on. Maybe I'll do a Nightfall, and then I'll just play like 10 games of Control. Because I guess I theoretically want a better IS Luna and would love a different Matador, so I'll just play and see if that happens. And that's a boring ass way to play and a surefire way to get me just kind of frustrated.
Yeah.
So it's been nicer to have a purpose for when I'm logging on. Like, hey, we want to do this tonight. Way more fun that way.
I will definitely back up what I said on the Brood episode. I love Force, and when I played it, I love it even more. Like, I love it more than just watching it. Like, Force is, if I was going to do any sort of competitive Destiny, that's where I would put my my effort. I love it.
Yeah, we had a really fun set the other day. That was actually a pretty good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys had some scrims going with some of our listeners in the patron night, yeah?
Oh, we did do that. The other night we did a little, well, we started out with some long rumble, which is always fun. Set the timer for half an hour. We did that on Widow's Court. Oh, man.
Swain won.
Swain did win that one. What else do we do?
I was playing with Praetorian Foil.
Oh, yeah.
Rumble champ.
We did a little elimination. We did a 2v3 series, which was really fun, me and Swain, and we played elimination on like all the weird maps. on Crossroads. Don't play elimination on Crossroads. It has like funny interactions,
not dungeons.
Cathedral of Dusk. Crossroads, we had these like funny moments where like someone pops a super and you just run through a teleporter and kind of wait on B and see what happens. And it's just like, I can see where in a real trial scenario that would just get frustrating and campy of people just going back and forth through the doors and never wanting to shoot each other. Yeah. But there was some good moments in that game.
Yeah,
I don't see it getting picked for the weekend event though.
And then we also did some hide and seek, but that's not really competitive. It was fun.
So what are the rules with hide and seek? No HUD, pick a camo shader.
The chasers need to not put on a HUD.
Yeah. Essentially, the people looking for a person don't have their HUD on. Elimination timing. So you have to kill the person, which does allow for opportunities of escape. Since they can't track you with radar, they have to use visual callouts. So there's 4 people hunting one guy down or hunting 2 guys down. I played on Night Stalker and they'd see me. We put on like gold shaders too for the people who are trying to be found. And so they called out like, oh, he's going around here. We were on blind watch the first time. And I dropped down to cut off vision and I made it look like I was heading. So when I went around the corner, I was heading straight for the big wheel outside. And then I shade stepped backwards and just ran backwards inside. And they were like, he's out there. He's out by our spawn. He's out by our spawn. And I was just like, I made it away. And really, it's just about finding a weird spot to sit down and go like, I found out this little ledge underneath this one awning and you can sit here. And if you walk by, no one can see you. And that worked a couple times, but it's pretty funny.
It weirdly helps you work on your call outs too.
True.
Call outs and map, navigation, because it does feel like you're being chased the entire time. And you kind of have to like know your map and know your like cover and know where you can hide and know where you can like kind of get away. So it wasn't just for fun. We improved a little bit too.
I know there's kind of, like you learn your call outs on maps. You're like, I don't know what to call that. We need a word for it.
Well, Crucible Radio never rests. We've been keeping it strong, but Bungie took a bit of a break. We haven't had a This Week at Bungie for a while, but January 12th rolls around. They're back. Another This Week at Bungie. We're back in the swing of it. And guys, we got some Iron Banner coming up.
Clash, baby.
Not Rift this time, though.
I forgot that the last one was Rift. It's been so long. It just blinked.
Yeah, it feels like it's been forever.
Yeah. I love banner solo queue. I loved the Rift solo queue so much because you could be such a good citizen just by posting up by the spark and just shooting anyone who came near it. I don't try and get it in the goal. If someone's attacking my side, I'm just going to keep the setup there. You worry about that. Just help. But in Clash, there's none of that. You just shoot.
Just chaos.
Shoot them.
Yep. I'm actually I'm looking forward to the chest and the arms. Those are probably 2 armor pieces I'm always down to get different rolls on. I feel like I'm set on legs. You're like, shotgun ammo, great. Sniper ammo, great. But in the chest, you want the variations between subclass and rolls. Hand cannon reload with int dis or whatever you need. So I'm happy that those are at least the pieces. Weapons, I'm kind of set on all my Iron Banner weapons. I think I've gotten a handful. The new bounty system is nice.
The last few times, Lady Efferdy has had some fantastic rolls.
Yes,
on all of the armor pieces, like 100%. Like
I've mentioned this on Twitter, but I would love it for everything else to start mimicking Iron Banner, where the vendor shows up, you work hard to get to rank 4 so you can buy it, and then you get a 98% to 100% stat roll on an armor piece, and then that's going right into your tier 12 loadout. I think that's perfect. So that is why I'm still playing Clash or still playing Iron Banner after all these months, because that is a great setup.
I have to assume it's possible. Maybe some people did not get Tormod's Bellows last time it came around, and got probably the God roll on a rocket launcher with grenades and horseshoes, of course, but also Field Scout and Tripod. So just guaranteed maximum, or get your 3 rockets every time, regardless of what boots you're wearing, what perks you're running. Then the sidearm's fun if you don't have one yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very unique sounding sidearm.
There's been a little bit of a discussion on the playbook and also on Destiny, the game, finally working out the kinks of research. Gintellectual posted a really clear explanation of a bit of a controversial one about what high caliber rounds do. And basically there's like a real easy way to remember what high caliber rounds are good on. Anything that can fire in full auto, so to speak. So a pulse rifle, there's bursts, but those bullets are hitting in a row, so that'll stagger, and an auto rifle will stagger. So that's why you have the good, clever dragon rolls. But on sidearms and scouts, high caliber rounds is not really what you're looking for. In a scout, maybe you want stability, maybe you want explosive rounds. But I do have a sidearm with high cal, so I need to replace that.
I feel like explosive rounds does exactly what high caliber rounds used to do.
In a lot of ways, yeah. They can definitely just be obnoxious.
It's not that it's like flinching. It's just more so annoying. Like, in a different way that flinch happens. So like you get a little bit of flinch because of course you're being shot at, but the visuals of like having that explosions in your face, that actually might be worth playing around with.
Yeah, well the
your 3 thorn.
Yeah.
I think the difference is high caliber rounds out in the open in a 1v1 in a vacuum gives you an advantage in air quotes. Because you want them to kick and then they get off target and they miss their second shot, so you win. Explosive rounds, more so in the engagements that are always, ducking in and out of cover and peeking and back and forth and blah, blah, blah. You can duck behind cover and still get damage from those explosive rounds if they just shoot the ground at your feet. And that can be real obnoxious, and it'll cause you to fully disengage as opposed to disengage for a second, try to peek back out and get that kill. So I've seen it in trials a couple times. A lot of people use the Burning Eye, which is the trials scout rifle with explosives, and that can just totally make you run away. And it can be a good, effective way to just keep space if you're getting pinched or something like that.
See, that's interesting because that is the one time I think I've really heard of the idea of suppressing fire being relevant in Destiny. But yeah, that does make sense regarding high caliber rounds. And on an auto where you're sort of locked onto a target for some time, it makes sense. But yeah, I just think back to when we sort of learned how the flinch mechanic works, how it's cumulative, right? Like it builds up over time to maximum deflection. So if you're losing that with the scout, with those individual shots, makes sense.
Shout out to those Crucible scientists, everyone doing the work, measuring pixels on their screen. It's crazy.
Counting frames.
Oh boy.
Well, we also have some news. We've been talking about it for the past 2 weeks, but we can really go into some detail now.
Yeah, baby.
The first ever public Crucible radio tournament, our Sparrow Racing Extravaganza, the Kells Angels Classic.
The Kells Angels ride again.
That's your pun, right? You get all the credit for
Kells Angels.
For that high quality pun. Or
maybe not. I don't want to take credit because I think I came up with like 4. Maybe someone else said Kells Angels, but I had like 4 really good Destiny Biker Club puns. And so I think I made like 3 of them at least. And then maybe someone else suggested that, or maybe that was on my list and someone else suggested another good one. But I do remember the last year making a Twitter poll and Kells Angels won. So that became our Biker Club clan for SRL.
And we got we got shirts now and like, ugh.
Oh yeah, Vroom Vroom Race Ace. All decked out, but Vroom Vroom Race Ace will not be racing. I will be doing commentary on this one on the Crucible Radio Twitch channel. Swain is going to be vrooming, maybe?
Maybe. Depends if I can swing the day off.
So if you want to beat Swain, sign up. Who else can you beat, Birds?
Well, let me tell you, this is going to be Saturday, February 4th. We're in talks with some names right now, but I can confirm that Mr. David Deej Daig himself is going to be competing in the Kells Angels Classic. Woo! He's showing up with his Sparrow. Of course, not an overboost Sparrow. That is the one rule we made because not everyone has them because they're super annoying. So overboost Sparrows are out. Of course, we're going to be turning the enemy combatants off because we have the ability. Unless you're trying to get that SRL
you
bounty,
don't win anything for most drag kills. Sorry.
Yeah. And finally, as a good sportsmanship rule, there's no intentional suiciding, just like in any other Destiny tournament.
So no death skipping, no jumping off your Sparrow so you can gain some seconds on some peeps.
Yeah. It's plain old, clean racing. This is going to be all day, Saturday, February 4th on PlayStation 4. We've got 150 slots available. So keep an eye on our Twitter. We're going to announce the sign-up page. It's a $5 entry fee. And of course, all of the entry fees are going back into the prize pool. So our big winner is going to take home $500 cash.
Woo! What?
Second place, walking away with a very tidy $250 in their pocket. And for all of our semifinalists, the 4 people who make it to the second to last round, we're gonna have some sweet prizes for you. I'm thinking Control Freaks sound right.
Oh, that sounds good.
Some Crucible Radio T-shirts, some swag and goodies in there. But I'm kind of excited for the format. Our friend Dan has really put a lot of research into this, along with our official tournament guru, Mr. Medical Otter.
Okay, so here's what's up. There's 150 slots, and there's only one champion, but a lot of people have an opportunity to win here. So 50% of players are actually going to be racing more than 3 times, and anyone who gets to semifinals will be receiving some sort of prize. There's a nice format here where we've got qualifiers, then elimination, then the semifinals, and then the finals, which is down to 3 racers. Those will get awesome. But that means a lot of people have a lot of chances, and anyone with semifinals, like I said, does get a reward. So keep that in mind. And this is going to be open to anyone. So if you want to compete against your friends or some really awesome community members, you got to sign up and you get a chance to win some stuff. It's going to be lit.
Of course, you want to watch it. You can follow it live as it happens, Twitch TV/Crucible Radio. But for details, just follow us on Twitter. It's twitter.com/Crucible Radio. And our big tourney page and signups will be there are crucibleradio.com/SRL. Sorry for the plugs, not at the end of the show, but this thing is going to be so much fun, guys. So
SRL. I'm going to do the whole thing in my in my Amanda Holiday impression. I'll nail it by the tourney day. So just all day, I'm just yelling in a Southern accent.
Excellent. How's that Sparrow holding up?
Yes, I'm excited for that. It's going to be cool. But guys, what about answering a few questions from our patron supporters? Because they've got some good Destiny cues. And we can really dive into a little bit of nitty gritty here.
And also, we can take very straightforward questions and drag them out into entirely distracted conversations.
Absolutely.
I love answering listener questions.
We're good at that. Okay, so here's some questions. We've got like 5 great ones right here that I am going to read off. Okay, Mystical asks, loving the show, guys. Keep it up. So I can't make up my mind, true sight or sure shot. What about short gaze or long view? So true sight and sure shot are barrel options for hand cannons and sidearms. Sidearms often come with one or the other. They're both good. Basically, true sight and sure shot are appealing because of the strong target acquisition, and they work the best when you get those God roll IS Lunas. You'll be okay if you've got quick sight or the other options on your perfect IS Luna. You're not like, don't shard it. But those are the kind of the best hand cannon barrel mods. So Sure Shot is going to give you bonus handling and aim assist. True Sight gives you bonus stability and aim assist, meaning they're both pretty sticky. I think I go with Sure Shot all the time. It just seems comfortable, looks good on the fruit space with a little bit of green bars going up. That's just kind of my preference.
I'm going to have to agree with you. I certainly don't mind stability on a hand cannon, and sometimes it's fun if you get an AOS roll that's got a stability booster instead of a range booster to have something that's really stable and locked in. But the reality is, if you're going to be using a strong legendary hand cannon, you're going to be pacing your shots a bit. You're going to know the recoil inside and out, whether you've got that diagonal recoil from the AOS or the more vertical from the palindrome, to the point where stability shouldn't matter that much. Handling, on the other side, just makes everything feel good. You get faster swap speed, faster ADS. If you're playing aggressive and you're switching back and forth between your primary and your secondary, or you're just checking your radar constantly and tapping that ADS button, you want to have that sort of quick zoom in. We talked about hip fire last week. That bit of handling boost, it's not much, but I'm going to lean towards that every time.
Yeah. I think the other thing, too, is if you're picking between the two of these on a legendary hand cannon that you're planning on keeping, then I'm jealous of you. So you are not going to go too wrong with either of those. Short gaze and long view. Long view, we assume that means the SLR 10, not the 20. The 20 is the long range scope for when you're camping with a sniper and hitting
trying to hit
on Sky Shock. Yeah, so you don't see that too often. This used to be a pretty obvious choice for many people back before they made a lot of changes to snipers. Short gaze offered a ton of aim assist. Long view had plenty, so it saw some action. Now they're both reduced quite a bit. It's really about the zoom. Short gaze has the lowest zoom. I think it's 5.5 times. But I think both are good. I do kind of like the long view. I will keep that. Short gaze is just probably the safest choice you can make on a sniper. Got a God roll, you got snapshot or quick draw, you've got hidden hand, you've got last resort, whichever sniper God roll that you love. Short gaze is always the right choice. But if you've got this beautiful longbow with hidden hand and snapshot or Firefly or whatever you like, and you see that Longview SLR 10, SRL, that Longview Sparrow Racing League 10, don't get rid of that one either.
Even give a shot to ViewTac. Like the ViewTac scope isn't a bad scope either. I've seen a lot of people experimenting with that.
The old iPad.
Yeah, and the ambush.
Yep. So, hey, don't get rid of those rolls. If you're selecting between either of those, it's down to the roll at that point. Okay, all right. Enough about those two scopes.
Well, hold on. I'm not done.
Oh, Burrs is not done.
I will say
you snipe?
One thing. Well, I have sniped from time to time. Well, here's the thing. When I snipe, I need all the help I can get. And for that reason, I do have to point out Short Gaze has the very nifty feature of the, what do you call them? Like the numbers on the side, the elevation numbers. And for me, where I just don't have that muscle memory year round of putting the sniper at exactly head level, having those to know that if I'm on the same level as my, whoever's going to pop around that corner, just being able to sort of pre-aim that much better for head level is a nice resource. And when I'm using a short gaze sniper, I make a point of using it. But yeah, I think I agree. If you've got a low zoom scope, you can make it work.
Yep. Okay, so Jack has a question. He says he has a couple trials questions, actually. Could you go into flanking in a bit more detail? Also, in a mixed skill level team, who should do the flanking? Oh, I love this Q. We can make this an episode. I'm gonna make it an episode someday. Okay, so I love to be the flanker. I think it requires the person with positioning and speed. That's where you go. So there's a thing with flanks that was once real easy to just kill 3 people from behind with really insanely strong primaries, with an arc bolt that could 2-tap with Thorn, blah, blah, blah. Snipers being real fast. These days, you need to hit perfect shots. And that being said, you're going to have someone turning around and calling out because people are way more aware than they ever used to be. You're never going to have 3 people hard scoping and you walk up behind them and slowly shoot them. It just won't happen. So yeah, accuracy and being the best shot, that helps with the flank. But I think when you aren't just guaranteed to get that triple, it's about the person who can time it the best. So flanking is all about timing. And a lot of that comes up in trials when you've got reses to cover. Those orbs, you know how long it's going to be before they can pick them up. You can see when they're going to go try and get it. Even if they're behind a wall, you see that little white part means it's happening. I mean, if you're staring at it from the angle you got, it's probably too late. So it's about predicting that, and it's about knowing where they are, which always falls back to callouts. So flanks can be really well utilized by someone who knows where the other team is. That can either be from callouts or their own ability to see and predict. So if you know that you know where the other team is going to be, you can take that opportunity to say, I'm going to go around. Flanks should happen if your team is just bunched up and you have one angle on an orb or one angle on the other team, even if they're all alive. Huge problem I see a lot is people getting stuck looking in the same door. So that's why I love to flank, because I'm always going to just decide that's not my angle. If I see 2 of my teammates following me, even if I was the first one to the door and they're there too, I'm like, okay, you guys got this, and I'm going to go this way. So just do it if all 3 of you are in one spot. That's probably the first way to start flanking.
I can back up. The biggest part of that is timing. You, as a flanker, you need to be able to time it perfectly. If you time it too short, you're on their radar before they're even engaging your buddies. You time it too long, your friend is dead, and all of a sudden it's a one person on each side type of situation where it's kind of outnumbered. So timing it perfectly so that like your buddies are engaging the enemy and keeping them distracted, and you kind of get the side view. You can get a really far long flank on someone. Not always works, but when it does, it feels good.
I'm certainly no trials expert, so I'm going to paraphrase a piece of advice given by one such trials expert, Mr. Invicta, when he came on the show, which is that in Destiny, we have radar that's always on. Even if you're sliding, you're still going to show up on the radar. So when you want to flank, and Bunsy, you kind of mentioned this, you got to book it. Yep. You got to move real fast because they're going to see you on the radar. The question is, by the time they see you and they realize that they're being flanked, it's got to be too late for them already. So you're going to be using that Titan skating, using those bones, using every trick in your book to cover that ground real quick.
Yep. Learn how to move fast as a hunter. Learn how to warlock surf, because everyone uses focus burst now. And obviously Titan skating can really be incredible for someone who knows how to flank. The last thing about flanking, and maybe this sort of answers the mixed skill level team, I think you're okay to send your best player. I think that works as long as the other 2 guys are team shotting and communicating. They have to be calling out what's going on so that other guy can just fly around and goes, look, I heard a call out that he is up on the C side of the bridge on Shrine. I'm there. I'm flying around on my Titan skate. I think if you can communicate, then you can let your best player fly around. If they like, checking the main lanes and they like having someone to team shot, then someone else can go around. If you're going to flank, though, be sure that you're not going too slow and too safe to get those angles. Because sometimes, like always, we sort of scope in, we slowly walk around a corner while we're scoped. If you're flanking, you've got to see them and you've got to be there to support. So like Birds and Swain just said, you got to be there and you've got to get there in time. So there's a scenario often when there's a flanker, and that's the guy who didn't flank is in a battle and they're trying to shotgun and they're melees. Maybe you get the guy absolute and you're saying, oh, he's absolute, he's absolute, he's absolute. The most disheartening thing is when your guy flanking is still like, he's got a few seconds before he's even turning the corner. That will kill you. That is a bad flank. That's too slow. But if you're the guy fighting, you die, you got him so weak, you almost got that melee off, and you're like, oh, he's half, he's right on the body, he's going to get a res. And then suddenly your flank flies in there and just cleans it up. It's a great play. Just because one guy is alive does not mean your team didn't make a great play there. So I'm always trying to convince people, like, it is okay if you die, if you are there and doing the work. You just got to collapse. And flank has a lot to do with collapsing. So there, we can talk about that more anytime. But I love flanks and trials. That's why I still play trials.
All right, well, give me another question.
Okay.
These are great.
Since no one has posted a good call-out map for Floating Gardens, which is the trials map this weekend, what are some good call-outs for Floating Gardens?
Oh, man. So I can kind of answer a little bit about this. Your two sides are, I would say one of the most common call-outs is the color of the room that you're in. Mm-hmm. And they usually just alternate between two because there's usually two sides to a map. And this one in particular has a red and blue side, like a warm and a cool side, essentially. And those are at the very bottom of the hill on the map. So if you're up top at the 50-50, you look all the way down at the bottom, those rooms at the very bottom are red and blue. So callouts specifically go towards those colors. So bottom blue, bottom red, moving away from red, moving up from red, all good callouts describing the color of the room. And it's good in those situations to kind of note what side you spawned on. So did you spawn on blue? Did you spawn on red? They can even go as far as say like, oh, he's at red spawn. So like maybe he flanked all the way around and got to your spawn. So usually colors are best bet. And then, keep going up the map to bridge, to statue, to one of the most common ones I use is 50-50. And that usually denotes like, where does everyone go? And that's the very top of the map.
The point of contact.
That is most common, where everybody throws their grenades at each other and hopes for the best.
I think all callouts build off of the same things, which is flags. And that's basically spawn. When you say A spawn, C spawn, that's because of the control flag. So play control, know where those flags are. Know where heavy drops in the big modes, because there's two heavies. In trials, of course, there's one, and you need to know where that is. But I'm talking about top heavy, bottom heavy. Those are important. On Floating Gardens, it's in each spawn, actually. So that's less important for trials. Also, special boxes, always know where the green is. You got to know where he's green. If he's saying top green right up there on B, that's really helpful. And then on top of that, before there's the clever universal phrase that everyone knows on certain maps with the funny words, like I don't know what some of them are gross. Don't use all the inside call outs, but there's some funny ones. Just spend the first game doing it. Like it's not going to be the most high stress game, or go in private matches, the most convenient thing in the world. And with whatever team you're playing with that day, you don't have to use the universally known ones as long as the three of you agree. So say, hey, do you want to call that tower? No, I like statue. Okay, statue it is. Just decide then, and then start your ticket. And you guys can use those call outs without the approval of everyone else on Twitter and Reddit. And then see if yours were that far off and pick up on them on them later. And normally they're pretty close, and then they become interchangeable.
We've talked about it before, and especially with this sort of thing, I would say you always want to be succinct with where you're calling out. So top,
short
heavy,
words,
bridge, one word, the better. Like it's as short as you can make it. And the best thing you can be doing is constantly, giving a view to your teammates that they can't see. So if you're in a different part of the map and you have radar pings, you see someone, you have someone weak, all very important information. They might not know because they can't visually see the same thing you are seeing. So a steady stream of information from whoever is going to help your team. And then the other thing that I really benefit from is essentially having a point person. So whoever is most confident, that person is just illustrating where we're going for that play. They're basically the shot caller. They're going to make all the plays. They're going to look in the playbook and say, all right, well, we went B last time. We're going to go to C this time. And even though it's trials, like we said, those flags and those points of the map are always going to stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
So they're usually corners of the map. The B is almost always center, and heavies, all that. Very important to just illustrate what you see to your teammates who can't see what you are.
Well said. This one's from Josiah. He says, "Hey guys, I've been trying to find the love for this game again, and it's hard to find it. But from listening to your podcast has kept me in, and I guess has actually inspired me to go through and try new stuff. So thanks." Well, you're welcome. That's good to know.
Yay.
And hey, how about a Crucible Radio meetup like what the Destiny Reset podcast does? Well, shout out to the Destiny Reset pod. If Swain is ever in California in 2017, we should figure that out. And it would be limited to the city of LA. But hey, that could possibly happen this year. Otherwise, check us out at GuardianCon.
Yeah, it's pretty safe to say if you want to meet up with Crucible Radio, attend GuardianCon 2017, guardiancon.co.
Very early stages of our details for GuardianCon. But I wouldn't be surprised if you heard us trying to do a meetup that's not exactly just at GuardianCon, maybe at like a different part of Tampa. We'll be there all weekend, so I wouldn't be surprised if you are trying to meet up with us. We might throw some stuff out there and say, hey, come say hi.
Always more details to come. We got a long ways away, but it's coming up fast.
6 months.
As far as finding the love for this game again, that's a tough question.
I don't think you should force it.
I was going to say that. That's a good point.
I think
speak on that.
If it doesn't feel right, I mean, and I feel like maybe I have, as an old dude who is very busy with his day job as Prime Minister of Canada.
It comes out.
But wait, I of course just joking. That's definitely.
Oh, you're just playing along with the bit, huh?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
sure.
Not making confessions. I kind of have a maybe a different take than a lot of serious gamers do. I mean, I definitely consider myself a gamer, but it's something that I find time for in my life because it brings me a lot of happiness. I'm not a super competitive person. I'm not doing 24-hour streams or anything. I play video games because they're fun. They help me relax. They sort of scratch that itch of Bones. You put it so well when you called it the motor skill hobby. And the truth is that if it's not fun, I'm not going to play it, or I'll play something else, and that's totally fine. I've become really inspired to get back to Destiny from playing other games and figuring out things there and seeing sometimes really clearly how those skills translate back. And then I think sort of swaying to what you said, the idea of having goals and having a focus, not just logging on because it's Tuesday, but really going in with a vision for what you want to do. I know everyone has still got a quest or two left that they haven't been tracking down, or want to take another swing at the lighthouse, or put together, try and go for that phantom medal. We've always found games to play inside of Destiny, whether it's hide and seek or scrims. or it's just saying, hey, I'm gonna use this funky loadout and I'm gonna do my best to dominate with it. Challenge yourself. Don't go to the thing that's easy and convenient that you've played 1,000 times. Do something new, because there's always a new subclass, a new piece of gear, a new perk that you're not familiar with. Try them out. Maybe you'll find the new meta.
So here's the thing, and it's tough because we're all here, especially if you're listening. You might just listen to us because you like our banter. I don't know. But most of you are here because you like learning tips, strategies, who's it's, what's it's, about getting better in Destiny. And you don't want to lose. People are coming here simply because they don't want to lose. They are done losing. They want to up their KD. They want to improve, even if it's just a little bit, because losing sucks.
It does.
Even if it's a casual thing, it always feels good to be winning in Destiny. So if you're finding that you are just, beating your head against the wall and you keep losing and it's not as fun anymore for whatever reason. It could be the meta. It could be something that you don't like. It could be a very hard, it could be a map that you don't like for trials. That's a sign that you just need to give it a second. Take a breather. Don't get too focused on your downsides and the losing and playing other games. I'll be honest, I spent this entire week, you can look at my streams, I've been playing Overwatch this entire week, and it just happened out of nowhere. I played Overwatch, 6 months ago. And 6 months ago, I was really into it for a little while, and then Destiny caught back up with me, and I got back into it. And that was just always kind of the ebb and flow for me. And this just kind of popped up out of nowhere. And I'm tired. I'm really tired because I'm up late playing it. But it's making me cherish every single time I go back to Destiny. And I'm looking forward towards, April, when maybe a weapon update happens. Maybe, there's some content that comes out. I'll be really excited when that comes back. And I'll probably be up way too late playing Destiny when that comes back around. So let your natural ebb and flows between games just kind of happen. Don't fight it. If you need to put down the controller for a little bit and do something else, or pick up the controller and play a different game, let it happen.
You guys said it really great there. If I was to add anything, I think it comes up every time Iron Banner comes around. So it was relevant today on the internet. And I sort of feel like, if you feel like, and this is not to Josiah, this is just to anyone, but if you feel like you're announcing your displeasure with a thing, especially in Destiny, it's also a sign of just maybe I'm investing time that's not necessary into this, because all of these options are optional. And I'm very much a victim of that, where I feel like I need to do everything. It's like, a thing happened in Destiny, I must do this. And I feel that a lot of when those bounties came back and I got to do all the strikes. I got to do the strikes. I got to get that armor. It's like, no, I don't. I do not need that armor piece. If you feel like you need to do a thing, or if trials this map this weekend, like Swain said, it's just or don't do it. There's weekends and trials where I do one ticket. It's I got invited to a ticket. That's fun, but I'm not in love with this map. So I'm not going to play 125 games. If you feel like you need to say why you don't like it, also realize that it doesn't matter and you don't have to do that thing. There's so many activities in Destiny, and just select a different one. And that helps me every time I get burnt out. I'm like, I'm actually pretty into strikes this week. There's so much to do. You don't have to do the thing that's been announced every day.
Well put.
So much stuff, but we all come and go. Ebb and flow, like Swain said.
All right, guys, this is the question I've been waiting all night for.
Is it about
I've been kind of phoning in my answers at this point, but I'm taking the gloves off for this one. Right. Give me bones.
Tim T asks.
Tim Tebow?
Well, he basically says, settle an argument for me. Which is better, enchiladas or pizza?
Oh my God.
What Tim T is really saying is start an argument amongst yourselves and fight to the death.
I can't imagine any of you were going to take me on in this argument if you, for some reason, pick the
wrong one.
The wrong one.
On 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Pizza.
Enchiladas.
Duh. What the fuck, Birds?
Here's the thing, is that if you ask 10-year-old me which is better, I would have said pizza every single time. If you'd asked 18-year-old me
I can't
which is
believe
better,
you have a response to this.
I'm improvising. But if you ask 31-year-old famous birds which one is better, look, I want to eat something that can be healthy, something that can be varied, something that can be nutritious, something can taste good, something I can put hours and hours of work into, and I can just make myself.
There's like 3 types of enchiladas.
Yeah, but Swain,
There's like
what do you put in an
enchilada?
Pizza. Yeah, I know. Okay, look.
All right, tell me what you're gonna put in an enchilada.
I might make some nice like cilantro lime rice. I might make some nice. Well, of course you can, but I might make some
chicken,
nice.
Put it on a pizza.
Barbacoa.
Put it on a pizza.
Some
barbacoa. Put it on a pizza.
Yeah, you can put it all on a pizza, but guys,
cut up that sausage you got for Christmas.
It's a mortadella.
Yeah, mortadella. Put it on a pizza.
That thing.
I mean, you could put you could put a 3-ring binder on a pizza. A pizza is large and circular and has surface area. That's not the point. The point is that I've got a different set of criteria now. It's not just about what tastes good, because I don't want to get fat, guys. I'm already starting to get a little fat. I got to rein it in. And so for that reason, I say enchilada is a nutritious, whole, complete meal. It tastes so good, and you can actually make it yourself. Whereas pizza dough, fuck making dough, fuck pre-made dough.
What you can do is take your enchilada filling, whatever it is, chicken, barbacoa, and put it on your pizza.
Shove it up your ass.
No, you roll your pizza into a pizza enchilada, and then put your enchilada sauce on it there. Boom. But best of both worlds.
If we're talking about like death row last meal, then I will say, yeah, pizza enchilada. That's it. Because you roll it up and then you drench it in sauce and cheese. That's how I want to go out.
My last meal when I'm about to be killed for committing an unforgivable crime will be that Taco Town taco from SNL.
Yes.
And I want to make someone put that thing in a tote bag and like 5 layers of whatever is on there. I'm from Chicago. Chicago style pizza is one of the best foods available in the world. And if you don't know what that is, figure it out. Get your life together. Make that one trip to Chicago and eat Chicago style pizza.
I've had Chicago style pizza. I've not had Chicago pizza.
Well, you're gonna get
Chicago style is fine, yeah, but I'm looking forward to it, man.
We're making it happen.
Show me the way.
All right. Well, I'm ending that conversation right now because that is the end of the conversation.
Well, all right.
Patrons, thank you for the questions. They only got us close to killing each other once today. Otherwise, we agree on all the Destiny stuff.
Okay, folks. Sorry for all those interruptions. We're going to be wrapping up this episode. Go Canada! Go Leafs! How's that?
We're not afraid of the dark.
No, guys, this concludes another episode of Crucible Radio. Destiny might be lulling, but we are not. Next week, we are going to talk about some of our favorite streamers in this game. Streamers have been as much a part of this experience as playing the game ourselves. There's some amazing content creators, and we want to talk about them. Talk about what we've seen them do, what we've learned from them.
Yeah, not just like our favorite looking streamers. Like, oh, I like Dr. Lupo's butt.
Oh, yeah. Caw, baby.
I mean, it'll come up.
It'll come up, but yeah.
It's going to come up.
It's not the only topic we have.
Yeah. And even though people don't like when we talk about other video games, there are people who play other games, like Birds has mentioned early on in this episode, that we do bring in skills to Destiny. And there's no better way to expand your knowledge of one game is to look at it through a different lens. And there are some people who are great at explaining that and why it's helpful.
And if I can tell the truth, there are some streamers, and I don't think they would mind me saying this. There's a couple streamers out there who, as people, I really dislike. I would never be friends with them in real life. We wouldn't get along. I don't like the sound of their voice. But as gamers and as teachers and as community leaders, they're just visionaries. And I want to talk about them. That's respect for me if I hate you, but I still love you because you're that good. We're going to run the gamut. Yep. We're going to talk about so many great people in this world. So stay tuned next week.
But in the meantime, don't forget to check out crucibleradio.com/SRL. And while you're there, just look at the rest of the site. The rest of the site's pretty cool too. Lots of stuff on there that you could use. There's some maps, there's some shirts, the whole 9 yards. So check it out. Make sure you drop us a review on iTunes. Head on over, give us a review. It helps us climb the charts, lets us reach more listeners, and have more great fans like yourself.
Yes, and everyone, you guys are great fans. We have great fans. Have I ever said that phrase? We have great fans.
Clearly,
I haven't.
Lots of friends.
Yes. Well, you should practice it a couple more times before
All
you.
Right. Next week, I'll say it like 80 times throughout the show.
Great.
Lastly, follow us, twitch.tv/Crucible Radio. That's where you're going to be catching the commentary for the SRL event. And give me a follow, twitch.tv/Swainstash.
It's just the best. Go check them out.
Plugs galore.
Plugs.